Hi once again and welcome to my channel. Now this is a different type of video from my normal debt, property, etc. videos, but like I said at the beginning of the year, I'm going to be doing different types of videos in addition to those videos. Now this subject popped into my head and I thought, you know what, it's a good idea for me to cover this in a video. Now stress can be a killer. It can really destroy a person's life. It can affect their family. So in this video, I'm going to discuss how I managed to make myself be able to deal with stress. The reasons why you'll find out later on in this video and see why it was important for me to learn to deal with it. Enjoy the video. Like I just mentioned, I had no choice, but I had to learn how to deal with stress because it used to cause me a lot of problems. And I'm not talking problems like sleepless nights and things like that. It would be bigger than that. What would happen is I would get headaches, and not the type of headache that you can pop a couple of paracetamol or drink lots of water and it will cure it. It will be headaches that wouldn't respond to that. I would have it for up to maybe 3 or 5 days. Now, one of the triggers of these headaches was stress. So I had to find a solution for me not to get stressed, because if I could stop myself getting stressed, that means that I kill off one of the triggers that can cause these headaches. So what did I do to solve it? Well, at the time I was working in IT sales, selling hardware and software. Now in IT sales, there's a lot of pressure to hit targets. So you can do well 1 month, hit your targets or do much higher than your targets, but as soon as that month is finished, a new month starts. Everything is forgotten from the previous month and you're back to trying to hit targets again. Hitting targets didn't really stress me, it didn't bother me at all. But it's when things go wrong. So for example, when you receive incorrect orders or your customer receives incorrect orders, or the orders are late or it doesn't turn up, etc. Suddenly you're running around trying to solve problems. And you've got a customer that could be really quite annoyed about the situation. On top of that, when things like that happen, when something goes wrong, all of a sudden a whole load of other things start going wrong. It's always typical that that kind of happens. So I end up with a whole pile of things to sort out. Things are all over the place, meaning my mind is all over the place. Everything is racing at 100 miles an hour in my head. So it's just noise, 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 commotion, commotion. But at that time, I taught myself to stop. Just stop for that second. This was a time for me to stop and think about what it is I'm really stressed about. What is the consequence of what is going on? I could lose the order, meaning I could lose the commission. I could lose a customer maybe. That means I won't get the business from that customer, which might mean I won't be able to hit my targets, meaning I could lose my job. So if I lose my job, I don't have the income to be able to support myself, pay my bills, pay for my food, pay my mortgage, pay for my Mercedes convertible. Yeah, I was one of those at the time. I'm not proud of it, but I'll still be alive after all that, right? If everything happened like that and I end up losing my home, I can just go and stay at my friend's or my family's house until I get myself back on my feet. I may have lost everything around me, but I would not have lost my mind. And I have people around who would be there to pick me up if that situation ever happened. I used to remind myself that I used to work in McDonald's and get paid £5.50 an hour. And everything that I had right now that I was worrying about back then was only a dream. Only a dream that I thought maybe I could never get, and I got it. So I'll get it again. So I taught myself in situations like this to slow my brain down, to slow my thinking down. When there's chaos in the room, there's mayhem, you need to be the calmest person in that room. When everyone is going crazy, running around, panicking, you need to slow everything down. You need to see everything for what it is. Rather than focus on the chaos and the mayhem, which a lot of people tend to do, focus on the solution. How do you stop this chaos? How do you stop this mayhem? And the solution can be very simple. Some people get stressed because they believe the situation that they're in is a situation where they should be stressed. So they end up getting stressed for absolutely nothing. I'm going to continue with my IT story, but I'm also going to be talking about areas of your life where stress can come up, so you can see how to deal with it in that situation. In my situation, if I return back to my desk and I received a message from one of my colleagues stating that one of my customers, especially if it's one of my bigger customers, had received an incorrect order, my mind will automatically go into a panic because I believe this might cause me a real issue. The customer could be really annoyed about it. This could jeopardize future business. Also, the profit will come off my figures if the order is cancelled, meaning that I have to do more work again to replace all the profit that I'd lost. So I'll then start to get stressed. But what am I stressed about? Mistakes happen. It's part of life. Now, to my knowledge, stressing or worrying about something when you have a problem has never fixed a problem. So why would I think me stressing about it is going to fix this particular problem? So what can fix a problem? Action. Doing something about it. People stress because they're not in control of what is going on. That's why people stress about it. That's why people worry about it. If my customer, by the way, I don't even know at this stage if this is a problem to my customer or not, but if my customer is annoyed or angry, it's not my job to join him or her on this upset, angry train. This is a time for me to slow everything down and really look at what I'm dealing with. Focus on that. Potential angry customer, incorrect order being delivered, potential loss of commission. Now, what I'm not dealing with is loss of customer, loss of job, loss of home, death and prison. Now, why did I add death and prison into this whole statement? The reason why I added it was to emphasize a point. Now, when people are in a situation where they believe they should be stressed and they don't 100% know what they're stressed about, they create things that can justify their stress. Things that don't even exist, that are not even being considered at the time. So in my situation, if I'm stressed about my loss of job or loss of customer or loss of home, that's me just creating it to make the situation even more stressful than what it is. No one has said anything about that. The customer I've not even spoken to, the boss of the company doesn't even know about the situation. So for me to even stress about these kind of things that have not even been discussed doesn't make any sense. Me adding death and prison into my thoughts during that time makes me realize that things really aren't that bad. I have discussions with countless people when it comes to money, debt, business, life. Now, the way it works with people's mind when they're in a stressful situation, the way I like to look at it is when they are going through stress, it's like a train. So they have the items that they're stressing them as passengers on the train. But then people like to pick up other passengers onto that stress train, unscheduled passengers. And these are passengers that they create in their mind that isn't even on the table and doesn't even exist. But they will sit there and they'll decide to add these unscheduled passengers into their train, into their mind, which causes them more stress. So the way I taught myself to combat this and stop picking up these unscheduled passengers, is it scheduled or scheduled? I'm just going to say scheduled. Picking up these unscheduled passengers onto the stress train is by going quiet, thinking. Sometimes if I have to, I'll write it down. I will hone in on what is really stressing me. What is real, only focus on what is real. Anything that is created, like exaggerated stress, I ignore that. If you want, write it on another page and cross it out because it doesn't exist. What was really my situation in IT was a potential angry customer, incorrect order being delivered, potential loss of commission. That was real. Everything else was just created, was there to exaggerate the situation. So now I know what is actually the real stress factors. I can focus on solving that. So the potential angry customer. First things first, I need to actually find out if the customer is angry. If the customer is angry or stressed or whatever, I know why the customer is stressed. It's because they're not in control. So when someone's not in control and they don't know what's going on, it stresses them, it worries them. People don't worry or stress about things they're in control of because they know what they're doing. When you're driving a car, or if someone's driving you in a car and you're the passenger, you could be stressing about their braking or whatever because you're not driving the car. But the person driving the car isn't worried about that because they're in control of the car. So as long as I make the customer feel that they have some sort of control, or they know that I'm in control, fully in control, then that can help them deal with their stress and their worry. Losing my commission on a deal is not the end of the world. I'm not the first or last person who will do that. Incorrect order, I just have to solve that. I have to get the correct order and remove the incorrect order. So suddenly that whole situation isn't really that big of a deal. As long as I take action and I can control the situation, as long as I'm in control of the situation, then it's not that much of a big deal. It's not something to stress or worry about. Now, one of the factors that could potentially cause me stress in this situation was losing a customer. So if I don't want to worry or stress about losing a customer, the way to protect myself is to get more customers. If I have more customers, it is less of a stress if I lose one. Taking control of that situation makes it less stressful for me. I receive emails and messages from viewers every single day. Now, 99% of the people who are messaging me are stressed, and I'm confident that nearly all of that 99% do not actually know what they're stressed about. You might be one of the people message me and you might be thinking, no, I do know what I'm stressed about. What I'm actually saying is, you are stressed in this situation because the situation is a situation that normally people are stressed in, rather than you being stressed about what is happening. Because you need to take time to slow your brain down and think about what is going on, the consequences of it, and take control over the situation by taking action. I've amassed a pretty good amount of knowledge when it comes to money, debt, life, etc. So it's gonna take a hell of a lot for me to be stressed about a situation. I'll give an example. Someone can contact me and say to me that I'm in £20,000 worth of debt and I'm worried that bailiffs are coming to take my stuff. And I'll ask that person, who told you that bailiffs are gonna be coming to take your stuff? And they'll go silent. And they'll just give a reply like this: I just assumed that's what happens when you're not able to pay your debts. And I'll ask them, you assumed based on what? And they don't have an answer. So what that person's done is they picked up a random passenger onto their stress train. So the stress that they were dealing with wasn't strong enough. They knew it was a situation to be stressed in, but they needed something to make them really stressed in that situation. So they just picked up this random passenger onto their stress train, so it can give them justification to be really stressed. There is no bailiff coming. The human mind is both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because with our minds we can create the most amazing things out of nothing. But it can be quite detrimental because we can create things that don't really help us or can make a situation worse for us. Now, in a situation where a person in £20,000 worth of debt believes it's a situation to be stressed about, the mind starts acting like a car out of control, swerving around, just going mad, thinking in all sorts of directions, picking up all sorts of thoughts, which makes a situation more stressful for the person when it didn't need to be that way. This was a time when the car needed to be going straight, focused on what the problem is and solving it. If you're in a situation like this, or you're stressed about a situation like this is a time to slow everything down. Understand why you are stressed about it. Don't jump on a stressed bandwagon. If you have no control of it, that's probably why you are stressed about it. When you don't really focus on what the solution is, like I said to you, on an unsecured debt, £20,000, I can immediately tell you can do token payments on it and I can kill your stress in seconds. But the thing is, you yourself could know that. All you had to do is take action and look at your options properly and not waste time stressing on it and also picking up other unscheduled stress passengers that don't exist, bailiffs, lost his house, etc. And the funny thing is, when that stressful situation is solved and that person knows what they're doing, some people like to pick up other stresses to replace that stress by saying, what about my credit rating? Now I might not be able to get a house, or I might not be able to borrow money, etc. When they don't sit there and think that them having the ability to get credit was a reason why they were in debt in the first place, and the reason why they are stressing right now. There are times when you'll never truly have control over a situation. For example, in a relationship. So you might be a person who stresses about their partner leaving them for someone better, as an example. You're not the first person to have these feelings, and you most certainly won't be the last. But you can never truly control what your partner's going to do. And it's as simple as that. How do you control something that is constantly changing in thoughts, in behavior? It's not possible for you to control something that is continually changing and changing, which human beings do. Human beings are unpredictable. So how do you deal with stressing about something that you can't control? You focus on what you can control, which is you. You might stress about your partner leaving you for someone better, but you have to remember that there was a you before your partner, and if necessary, there'll be a you after your partner has gone. You don't suddenly cease to exist because your partner is not there. All that happens is the version of you changes. How it changes depends completely on you. Stressing or worrying about your partner leaving you for someone better will not stop your partner leaving you and will not make your partner stay. Having the knowledge that you have no true control over your partner, and your partner, despite that, is still with you, speaks volumes. Sometimes you have to take things at face value. So going back to when I was working for that company, until someone decides to terminate me, I have to sit there and assume that I'm not going to be terminated. Purely because of the fact that if I sit there and worry about it or stress about it, it isn't going to make any difference to the outcome. And if someone is going to terminate me, they are just going to terminate me. If your partner is coming home each day, showing you care, love and affection, you have to just assume that your partner doesn't intend to leave you. There is no point stressing or worrying yourself about the person leaving you. There's no point torturing yourself, thinking about something that may never happen. And if that is not enough to alleviate your stress or your worry, then you can take full control of the relationship by ending the relationship. But then you have to ask yourself if ending the relationship solves the issues that you're facing. Sometimes in life you have to make compromises. And in a relationship, one of the compromises you make is to accept the fact that you can never have full control over your partner. And you never know what the outcome of a relationship is going to be. But you just have to hope. Stressing about it, worrying about it, will not affect the outcome. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I'm going to leave it here for now, but I might revisit this subject if required by you guys. For those of you who are new to my channel, who like my content, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you do not miss any of my videos. Thank you for all of you who watched this video. Thanks for your support. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Put any comments in the comment box. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.